Good evening, everyone. Welcome for being with us tonight here in Council Chambers. Welcome to our television audience, and welcome to our West Orange Township Council Conference agenda for April 30th. Madam Clerk.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star-Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on September 26, 2018, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on October 4, 2018. Councilman Krakowiak?
Present.
Councilwoman Toot Brown?
Present.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Present.
Council President Garino.
Present.
Please let the record show that Councilwoman Castellino will be absent this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and welcome. Mr. Sayers, you'd like to present two new township employees, sir?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Council President. We have here with us tonight, as we all know, Ms. Duffy retired and Ms. Bianchi retired in our Senior Citizens Welfare Department, and we have our two new employees here. First, I'd like to introduce Laura Van Dyke, who has taken Patty Duffy's position, and her Noella Perez is taking over Estrada's position. So these are our two new senior citizen people. If you have any questions, they'll be more than happy to step up to the mic and answer any of your questions that you might have.
Thank you. Would either one of you ladies like to say something to the council? Sure.
Yeah, right up to this microphone right up here. And I have to say, since Patty has left, they're doing a great job right now.
Well, welcome to the Township of West Orange.
Thank you. So I'm Laura Van Dyke, Noelia Perez, and it's great to be here. So I have some big shoes to fill, and I look forward to it. Noelia and I have just met as we arrived for our new jobs. We're in our third week, and we make a pretty good team. So we're open to meeting with folks. We've been very busy meeting, learning, going through the files, trying to just pick up where Patty left. And I really want to express a lot of gratitude for Patty for all that she's done, and we look forward to taking it from here.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I'm sure Patty Duffy will always be there if you need to reach out for her for any information. She's a great person.
Well put, because she is. She's been very generous guiding us on the phone. We're very grateful to her, and she's gone above and beyond, and we're very grateful to that. So thank you for saying that, because that has been the case.
No.
Most importantly, they both live in West Orange.
And we live in West Orange. Our kids are in West Orange.
Well, it's good to have you here with us, and we wish you continued success in your new positions.
Thank you so
and the
much.
council is here to help you in any way we can.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy it.
I appreciate it. Well, there's a lot to enjoy, and we've met with some community members as well, and we're open and looking for feedback and carrying things forward.
Have you gotten over to the Rena House or Degnan House, the senior citizen buildings?
Yes. To Rena, I met with the Susan Iovino, the nurse. We sat down with Teresa as well, and I think Noelia was there today, maybe putting a flyer up. Yep, for our Salute to Seniors May 23rd event that we're moving forward, getting the word out. Got our tickets, putting our flyers out. So yes, and then I left a call today for Degnan House to connect over there. So yeah, that's what we're trying to just get connected as best we can.
Good. And you'll see Patty Duffy over at Rena House, because she's my appointment to the senior citizen.
Very good. That's right. Exactly.
And you have Councilwoman McCartney. She is the council representative to
Fabulous.
Rena House.
Thank you. Well, everyone, and I had a phone call, a very detailed phone call with Michelle. So I appreciate, the emails and such that I've had with the board members here, and the feedback and the offers of support, and that's very meaningful.
Great. Thank you. Any one of my colleagues have any questions?
No, I'm
Comments?
chuckling because, excuse me, Council
No,
President,
please.
I'm just chuckling because I thought you said that Noelia was at the Rena House putting a fire out.
Oh, my!
And
I
you
have
said
to
she was
talk more
putting
slowly.
flyers out, and I thought, wow, that really is above and beyond the call of duty.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Good.
Just want to say welcome again.
Thank you.
Thank you for responding to
Of
the
course,
email,
and
and I look
thanks for
forward
reaching out to me. Yeah,
Okay, great.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Great.
Noel,
Okay.
would you like to say anything?
Would you like to say anything?
Come on up, Noah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, by the way.
We're nice people, we're not...
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I've been in West Orange since 2001, and I do have 2 senior aunts at the Degnan House, so I do have a senior citizen connection there. I've been through all the public schools in West Orange. I am bilingual, so I do speak Spanish, which gives me an advantage to some people who have actually come into our office this week only speaking Spanish. And especially since we used to be the welfare department, we've also been getting a lot of calls from that still. And my previous job was at the Salvation Army in Montclair, where I was handling a lot of financial situations and grants from the county, so I had a lot of experience with things such as welfare and grants to help with like back rent and other things. And I'm really glad to be here and go forward helping the senior citizens of West Orange.
Excellent. Well,
You're welcome to the township.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
And we're here to help you too, so... Have a great evening. Thank you so much. Good luck to both of you. Okay, moving right along. Our town historian, Mr. Fagan, you want to make a presentation?
Thank you, Council President. I'm not going to make a presentation. That's for another venue. I just want to make an announcement here about the opening ceremonies for Rock Spring Country Club. They will be on May 9th, Thursday evening, May 9th at 6 o'clock with a ceremonial first drive at 7 o'clock p.m. Mayor Parisi cordially invites the public to come for the golf, but stay for the view and enjoy the spectacular vista of the Manhattan skyline. There will be a putting contest, and we are in the process of making arrangements to transport senior citizens from Rena House and Degnan House. Details will be worked out on that. So it will be, once again, Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. with a ceremonial first drive at 7 p.m. The Galante brothers will be doing the first ceremonial drive at Rock Spring, at the new Rock Spring Country Club, at the new Rock Spring Golf Club owned by West Orange. And I know I forgot one important thing. Light fare and refreshments will be served. So, and this is a free event, so invite the public to come out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Brill?
Yes.
Downtown?
Hi, everybody. Megan Brill from the Downtown Alliance. If you would each take 2, I separated them back and forth. There's 2 copies. What I'm handing out is copies of sheets that are on our website and are being disseminated throughout the township on the websites, and there'll be flyers that will go out through school. What we did this year was we added a fall festival to our list of events that we do, and it will be on a Sunday in October. The dates are there. In addition, we're moving West Orange Idol to Sunday. It was better for a lot of people in town, and it's way better for our businesses. So, pass it, whichever. Yeah. We're excited about a brand new event, which will be the Fall Festival, which will have a ghost tour with Joe Fagan, and we will be out of OSPAC this year for Idol and the Fall Festival. We're also bringing back Downtown Thursdays. You'll see the top flyer with the kind of retro 70s kind of look about it. There's 3 Thursdays in July and then 5 Thursdays in August. And we're going to do what we did 2 years ago, where we're going to highlight a specific area of downtown and provide some sort of free excitement, and then encourage everyone to attend the businesses that are there. Also included in our list of things to do, just not on that, the thing with the street fair, is our 5K run. So we get to partner with the health department and the new Patty Duffy and Estrella, and our Small Business Saturday event, which will be in November. So those are 7 events that will keep us all very, very busy and provide a lot of opportunity for folks to come out in public and come downtown and enjoy all the good businesses and restaurants that we have to offer. So it's in one spot.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No. Any council colleagues have any questions for Megan?
I
No?
look forward to working with
Gary?
you.
What'd you say, Sue?
I said I look forward to working with you.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Megan. Much appreciated. Mr. Sayers, update on redevelopment, please?
Sure. Everything is going well down there. Couple of things. Trying to find my notes here. Okay, I didn't talk to Mr. Diaz today, so I don't like to give out numbers without speaking to him, but I did talk to one of the people down at the building, and according to them, there are now 101 tenants in the building and 129 leases, which is a little more than what we talked about last time. Phase 2 is their engineer and architect are sitting with Mr. Lepore, and they're going over some documents about what they need to do in order to get Phase 2 up and running. And pretty soon, hopefully, that's going to take place.
Okay, thank you. Any of my colleagues have any questions for Mr. Sayers on redevelopment?
Mr. Sayers, thank you for the update. I'm sorry, I'm a little hoarse this evening. Is there some sort of timeline on this Phase 2?
Well, there's some issues with regard to things that were involved in the first part of the contract with regard to the bonding, and I should have actually spoke to our redevelopment attorneys about that today, but I didn't get a chance to. And they're trying to iron those issues out in order to get Phase 2 up and running. But some of it has to do with some contractual issues that they're going through.
Okay, when you say bonding, are you referring to their ability to finance construction, or are you referring to the redevelopment area bonds that are part of the...
The redevelopment area bonds that were part of Phase 1. That not part of Phase 1.
Not a Phase 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Phase 2.
They're going to be part of Phase 2.
Right. Do you know at this point whether PRISM has secured construction financing?
No, I do not.
Is that something you could ask Mr. Diaz and advise the council on as soon as possible?
Absolutely.
As you know, they had severe problems and were ultimately unable to get financing for the Phase 1. So I just want to see if that's an issue going forward, because this was supposed to be done back in September.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any one of my other colleagues?
Yeah, I did, Ashley. Any advancements on the real estate down below, the businesses? I know that there was someone that was interested in a liquor license or
Commercial, yes.
commercial area.
No, he hasn't. He just doesn't give me that info. Actually, I didn't get to speak to him this week, but he is. What I do understand, he is trying to get a liquor license. So I'm assuming that one of the people or one of the businesses that want to go in there is going to be some type of restaurant, because he's trying to get a liquor license.
Is that dependent on them approaching the ABC or just finalizing any details with the potential?
Well, there has to be a vacant license available for them to get, and then if they get it, then they could, bring in whatever business wanted to go in there.
And there's none currently available for them?
Are there?
Well, there's one available for sale around town.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's no dedicated license. So they may come before you and the ABC board for a placement.
Well, I guess that's what I was asking. Are there anywhere, I'm guessing because they haven't approached us, as that they still haven't hashed out any contracts or any agreements with respect to a lease?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
Maybe we
probably
can help.
what's holding it up, I would think.
Okay, all right.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Susan, any comments on? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sayers.
You're welcome.
Council liaison, Councilwoman Matute Brown.
I don't have any council liaisons updates, but I do want to just share that We collected for the prom closet, over 100 amazing gowns and delivered them to the high school on Saturday. So I want to special thank you to, and I have to acknowledge them for coming in on a Saturday because that was my available time, Miss Ortiz and Miss Best over at the high school who helped us lug all of these gowns in. And Mr. Moore sent a picture yesterday holding up one of the gowns, very excited. So just a special shout out, thank you for all of those who've participated. You're going to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to have a prom experience. So I'm really, really grateful for all of your donations.
Thank you. Councilwoman McCartney.
Okay, so, where do I begin? Planning Board. Planning Board will meet tomorrow evening at 7:30 here in Council Chambers. And I'm looking at the agenda here, we have an application at 44 Washington Street that will be heard. Presentation and public hearing on the Essex Green Executive Drive redevelopment plan. And 2 ordinances that are under review that the council introduced on first reading, and the planning board will review before they come up for second reading. There is a lot going on at the West Orange Arts Center. Please just go to woarts.org to find out information about the exhibits there. Rent-A-House is still accepting applications for walk-in bathtubs, which seems to be very popular. Is that the Rent-A-House?
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Councilman
wait,
Kukrow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. The West Orange, on Sunday, we did our first ever, the West Orange Environmental Commission did a toy drive. It was for plastic toys. To keep the plastic out of the landfills, but we partnered with Second Chance Toys, and they are affiliated with 12 different charitable organizations. So we did a swap and shop kind of thing where we were at OSPAC, we had the stage open, all the toys were on the stage, we had volunteers cleaning and disinfecting them, but I thank the residents that brought the toys because they looked like they were already cleaned and disinfected. And as people were coming to donate, they could stop and shop and take whatever they wanted. There were 2 vans full of toys that did get carted off, so it was above and beyond our expectations. I thank the Department of Public Works, Nick Solis, who is also on our Environmental Commission, Alan Duff, and Vicki Wysocki, who helped me organize it in a short amount of time. So we're going to continue doing it because it seemed to be very well received by the community, so I thank everyone that came out to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Kukoviac.
Thank you, Council President. The Friends of the West Orange Public Library are having our spring plant and book sale this coming weekend, Saturday, May 4th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the library basement, the newly renovated library basement, and also Sunday, May 5th, from 1 to 3 o'clock. We added plants last year that were hugely popular, so you may want to try to come on Saturday in case we run out. And all proceeds go to support our fantastic public library.
Okay.
Also, anyone who is planning to attend the upcoming meeting of the West Orange Historic Preservation Commission, which was scheduled for Wednesday, May 8th, that has been rescheduled to Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m. up here in the conference room on this floor, and hope to see you there.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McCartney, want to add one more thing?
Please, all right, thank you. 2 more things. I'm just getting
Sure.
a text message also from Rodolfo Rodriguez, who is the president of the West Orange Hispanic Foundation. At 7:30 this Friday, May 3rd, he will have 2 immigration expert lawyers at the Holy Trinity Church as an educational outreach. He's opening this up to the public. They meet at 7:30 at Holy Trinity Church on Main Street. And thank you. For the West Orange Chamber of Commerce has their annual Community Awards Dinner coming up May 13th at Mayfair Farms, where we recognize fireperson of the year, firefighter of the year, police officer of the year, business of the year, and Educator of the Year. So we invite everyone to attend Mayfair Farms on May 13th. Go to westorangechamber.com for more information about tickets, purchasing tickets online. Thank you.
You're welcome, Councilwoman. Okay. Upcoming May 8th is the next West Orange Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board meeting to be held at Turtleback Zoo at the ECEC, the Educational Center, 7:30. Please come and voice your opinions and concerns and meet with members of our board. It's a great board, and you should pick their brains. They love having their brains picked, and we need your input. Also, there'll be a ribbon cutting this Saturday at 1 p.m. at 96 Washington Street, called the New Yoga Ground. That's this Saturday, and so we hope you'll be there to welcome a new vendor to our downtown corridor. We're looking forward to that. And also, May 3rd, at West Orange High School at 8:30 in the morning at the Conforti entrance, the Badlani Foundation, through their Youth Advisory Board, will be unveiling a new safety mural at the high school. So we should all come out and see the great work that's been done with the new mural and what the Badlani Foundation has done. The Badlanis are very involved in Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board, so we look forward to seeing you there. Other than that, we hope you come and voice your, what you like to see, and also come to our Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board. We've been able to accomplish a lot of things on the advisory board, especially with Essex Green and the safety improvements that will be implemented into the new Essex Green Shopping Center that we're very proud of, including traffic lights, lighting, street improvements, sidewalks, and walkways. And for the pedestrians, to make it more pedestrian-friendly and walkable shopping center. Other than that, anybody else have anything to say? Anybody miss anything?
I have
Yes,
to,
go ahead, Councilwoman.
So besides shouting out for the DPW, I have to shout out to John McElroy. As you know, the Environmental Commission is involved with Leader of Light. We introduced that to the town a few years ago, and it provides solar power light for 5 hours, and we extended that we needed night lights for the students at the high school to create solar-powered LED circuits. And students went on to create their own designs. The curriculum has gone to receive national attention, and 2 of the students have designed a bus shelter with solar lights, because they're athletes and they have to wait for the late bus, so they've designed a bus shelter with lights and phone chargers. And we were able to get New Jersey Transit to come up to the high school to look at this project. They said it was in their planning department for 3 years, and here we have 2 students that designed it right in their lab. And the shout out really is for John McElroy, because New Jersey Transit did donate a bus shelter, and John was able to transport it from Ferry Street in Newark up to the high school for the students to work on it. So it's very exciting, and we thank you. Thanks.
Now, I have one thing to add. Okay, I have one thing to add. What I further bring up is also at the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board will be the preliminary layout for the downtown Main Street road diet. The final drawings have been completed, will be submitted to the Pedestrian Safety Board, then to the council, which then, if we'll approve the concept, we will bring out, and through the Downtown West Orange Alliance, we will make our downtown merchants a partner in any other adjustments that have to be made to the road diet. We want them to be a part of what we're trying to make Main Street a safer and a more pedestrian-friendly world. And the way to avoid all the pitfalls from other townships who have gone and done their downtowns with complete streets is to do it the way we design complete streets to be done, and that's to involve our merchants. So that'll be presented at the next Downtown West Orange pedestrian safety. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on September 26, 2018, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on October 4, 2018. Councilman Krokoviac?
Present.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Present.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Present.
Council President Garino.
Present.
Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? The council is now in their public meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you to my council colleagues. Okay, at this point in time, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Please, if you wish to speak or make a presentation to the Township Council, just raise your hand and I'll call you up. Yes, ma'am. Right up there. When you come to the microphone, please speak your name clearly so the Township Clerk can get the proper spelling and your address. And thank you very much. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Lois Reichert, 97 Main Street, R-E-I-C-H-E-R-T.
Thank you.
Okay. My question is, I have concerns about not only the $12.2 million that was spent on Rock Spring. You know, we have a contract lurking for the police. We've had a lot of money spent, and to the best of my knowledge, there's no budget yet presented to the town council. I was hoping the mayor would be here, but maybe Jack, you can say something, or Mr. Gross. Why is there no budget yet, but yet millions and millions of dollars are being spent?
You have to finish your public comment, and then they'll address everything after public comment is closed.
Okay, that's my comment. Why is all this money being spent when there's no budget yet presented to the town council? Millions of dollars have been spent, and they don't have a budget yet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Michaela Bennett. I live at 35 Old Indian Road in West Orange. I'm here to ask you, as a council, to table the ordinance regarding the licensing agreement with Pleasant Valley Productions for the Oscar Schindler Performing Arts Center. It's no exaggeration that I've been contacted by 5 people who have intimate knowledge and awareness of the mismanagement of OSPAC today. Driving down here, I was on the phone with somebody who managed it successfully. I've heard about the embezzlement of money. I've heard about making profit off of OSPAC by a private company that was entrusted to manage OSPAC. And I would implore upon this council to investigate what has happened historically that leads us to the point where a rushed and bizarre ordinance is put in front of you and you're asked to act upon it. Rushed and bizarre meaning it was just written. I've never seen an ordinance like this. If you look at every other ordinance for OSPAC and the licensing of OSPAC, you don't see all the justifications about why the individual is appropriate for running OSPAC. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Trank. So I don't understand why, number one, a contract is allowed to expire. Number two, there is no RFP for the services. Number three, nobody is taking interest. When I reviewed the contract, I see that Mr. Sayers has responsibility for oversight and with this contract and what happens and transpires. And I have in my possession and can make available to anyone who wants to see it, including the 2 police officers who have emailed me about it, and the Attorney General's office and the Essex County Prosecutor's office. I would gladly show them how inappropriate this has been managed by people who have been elected to manage a business that is supposed to be a nonprofit, yet there's a profit sharing in a contract that there is a 2012 contract that was provided via an Oprah request, but somehow the 2013 contract that has a profit sharing for the town who desperately needs as much money as possible. There's a profit sharing arrangement in the 2013 contract. I have no idea why the Oprah request that asked for the contracts for OSPAC did not provide the 2013 contract. I do know that it could be an error, but it shouldn't have been an error because the Oprah coordinator for the town consulted with competent counsel. And competent counsel should have advised that all contracts should have been sent over, particularly the one that superseded the one that we were provided. So if competent counsel is looking at 2012 and 2013 contracts and sees a profit-sharing arrangement in a 2013 contract and advises not to send that, just to send the 2012 contract, I mean, I don't know what happened. What I do know is counsel was consulted with. We were provided with information from the Oprah request for the contracts on OSPAC, and the only contract that we were provided was the 2012 contract. The 2012 contract isn't the prevailing contract. The 2013 contract is the prevailing contract. The 2013 contract shows that there's profit sharing, that the town is supposed to enjoy 10% of the profits. The fact that a for-profit company managed OSPAC and profited off of OSPAC, but the township got no money, is unconscionable, and I ask you to table this until you know what happened. Please.
Thank you.
Yes, Mrs. Purnell. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Suzanne Pennell, 27 Fairview Avenue. I'm the mom of a Navy ensign currently deployed who absolutely is celebrating his 23rd birthday tomorrow. As Memorial Day approaches, and this beautiful ceremony that we hold annually is coming up, I just wanted to acknowledge and show my deep appreciation for our mayor and township council's great support for our active military, and of course, West Orange's support and honoring of its veterans, both current and those from our past. As a family deeply involved in a lot of military issues right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. It means so much, and I look forward to helping in any way I can as the year goes on, but I just really wanted to say in this time when the world requires more of their presence, as a family waiting at home, we appreciate our town and those in positions of leadership really showing the support that all of our military, past and present, deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Purnell. Yes, Chairman.
Good evening, Tammy Williams, 16 Hillside Avenue, West Orange Human Relations Chairwoman. Just wanted to remind everyone that the Human Relations Commission hosts First Fridays every first Friday of the month. That will be May 3rd at 6 to 7 p.m. at the Rena House. We feature line dancing for our seniors. Everyone is welcome. It's a free event. There is light refreshments, including water and some crudité for those who engage. But we want to welcome the entire community to come out and support this event. It is something that is extremely fun for our seniors, and we would like to encourage anyone who has nothing to do this Friday to come out, enjoy our seniors at the Rena House. They have a tremendously large community room. It's a lot of fun, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Anyone else wishing to speak to the council? No? Mr. Puglisi.
Hi, Anthony Puglisi representing County Executive Joe DiVincenzo. Earlier this week, I had emailed all the council members and Mr. Sayers some information about a new program that the county executive and the ECIA is trying to put together and is rolling out. and it's really a benefit to the municipalities, and we're also extending it to the public school districts, where towns and schools would be able to utilize the benefits of the county's AAA bond rating. If you remember, last year the county received its AAA bond rating for the first time in history, and sorry about that. And with that, with a higher bond rating, if you were to go out and borrow money, you would get that money at reduced interest rates. Right now, this program is just focusing on equipment, and we think it would be a real advantage for towns and school boards to join in. There's no obligation to join. In the packet of information that I sent to you, there is a survey, so if there's equipment that you want to include, if you put it on the list, you're not obligated to follow up if you find that it's not beneficial to you. But we just wanted to open up that opportunity for West Orange.
Thank you, Mr. Puglisi. Thank you, Mr. Puglisi.
I just don't want to put you on the spot, but you're here. Thank you
Yes.
for all that information.
That's why I'm here.
Just wanted to know, because while I love that we bring in so many visitors to the zoo, we all were, I want to say inconvenienced, to say the least, with the amount of traffic on Northfield. I understand that the plan is to build the parking deck, to help alleviate the kind of roundabout traffic that's going on in there. Any idea as to a time frame?
When it will be completed?
Yes.
The county executive wants that done by the end of the year, so it'll by probably November, December of this year.
Okay.
And they've already started with the foundation. The project is well underway. So.
And the county anticipates that it's going to help relieve some of that traffic.
We hope it does. Just from our experience, like you said, the circulation patterns around Turtleback Zoo, there are a lot of people when they come to the zoo, and when there's insufficient parking on that site, like you said, they do recirculate back out onto Northfield and Cherry Lane. I'll be honest, when we have days like, I believe it was Tuesday last week, that was in the middle of spring break for a lot of schools. It was also a Jewish holiday. It was also one of the best days of the year so far. So on days like that, we really can't say we're going to get X amount of people. We can kind of estimate that it's going to be a busy day, but we do hope that the new deck, when it is open, will alleviate a lot of that congestion.
And I have shared that with a lot of the residents I live right beyond that. So I take an alternate route to get around that traffic. So I am looking forward to having some relief in that area. So I'm glad to hear that, by the end of this year, hopefully.
Right. And just so you know that when we anticipate those days, we do assign more sheriff's officers to that complex to assist with traffic control. I was on the phone with Jack earlier this week. I know West Orange did send up some police officers to assist as well. And there was one other thing. And we are looking into ways to notify the public to kind of warn them when we think there's going to be a large traffic volume, either through the county website, county social media pages, that sort of thing. I can tell you what to expect on June 1st. That's when we have our annual open house. So that's from 10 until 2. So we do get a lot of people that day. So that would be the next blip on our radar where traffic would be a concern along Northfield Avenue.
And thank you for that. Maybe, I don't know if that's something that we can circulate through our town webpage to just let people know to plan accordingly, that there is anticipated heavy traffic that day. Mostly everyone hopefully will be at the street fair as well, so it'll keep some traffic off the road.
Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board put that on the website too as an alert. So thank you. It's a good point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Puglisi. Anybody else? No? Okay. Anybody else? Ms. Brill, you'd like to speak? Please.
Thank you. I guess I'm speaking as as a resident, 1 Oak Crest Road, and as a director for the Alliance. I wanted to talk about Pleasant Valley Productions proposal on tonight's agenda. I got to work with Camille Vecchio, Di Lorenzo, in like 2013, right before I took over this job. She ran the after-school program for Roosevelt Middle School, and she was able to incorporate a whole bunch of the kids from the program into 2 shows. They did Ragtime and they did Joseph. So that was really my first understanding of Camille and Pleasant Valley. Sorry, my ears are buzzing. When I knew her from school, but didn't really understand her whole concert background and her theater background. When I took over at the Downtown Alliance director, John McElroy wanted us to run a street fair in cooperation with Edison Day. So I was like, okay, well, we can probably do that. And then he said, we need to have a concert on the back 40 at the museum. So I said, okay, I can't do that. So I called Camille, and she jumped right in and saved us. For 2 years, she ran the entire concert and entertainment piece of the street fair. We decided to change up this last year, and we did West Orange Idol. And the person that we thought was going to run Idol for us ended up not running it. So again, I was in a little bit of trouble and didn't really know how to run West Orange Idol. So I called Camille and I said, you know, do you have any experience with this? Can you help me? And apparently she ran Idol for Montville for a really long time. And we followed her guidelines in order to execute Idol for us last year. And we had already decided to move Idol to OSPAC this past year because it's really hard to have a whole theater, a whole stage and sound system in a field that doesn't have electricity at all, which is what we dealt with at Edison Field. So I am just saying that I'm looking forward to having Camille and Pleasant Valley Productions be in charge of OSPAC. I think that, I don't know if she's here. Oh, she's here. So you should give her the opportunity to, I guess, say hi. But she, I'm sure that we're going to have regular programming in addition to the stuff that we did last year and then a whole host of things. I can't say enough about Camille and the other people on Pleasant Valley Productions, and I've worked with her for a long time. I can confidently say that we're in good hands. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to speak, Camille?
Oh, sure.
Sure, come on up. Good evening.
Hello. I know I'm in the performing arts and I'm about to read from my script.
Name and address.
Sorry about that. Good evening, members of the Township Council.
Your address.
Name and address.
Oh, Camille Vecchio Di Lorenzo, 95 Warren Road, West Orange.
Thank you.
I brought some friends too. On behalf of Pleasant Valley Productions, I thank you for the opportunity to help bring community performing arts programming to the Oscar Schindler Performing Arts Center. My name is Camille Di Lorenzo, and I am the Artistic Director of Pleasant Valley Productions and a longtime resident of West Orange. Pleasant Valley Productions started producing theater and concerts in 2010 and became a 501c3 organization in 2011. Our goal was to bring community theater back to West Orange after the West Orange Theater Under the Stars had entertained audiences for many years with their great outdoor theater program. Our founding members and creative team had collaborated for over 10 years with the JCC Community Theater Program, and with the greater community in mind, we decided to form a new West Orange theater company. It seemed appropriate to name the organization after our familiar Pleasant Valley Way, establishing our tie to West Orange. Without having our own theater facility, we turned to our friends at Pleasantdale Presbyterian Church, and we requested that we share our art with them as a resident theater company. We fostered a great relationship with Roosevelt Middle School and provided the students with a free after-school musical theater workshop for almost 3 years. Our large-scale musicals were performed on the stage at Roosevelt, and our smaller musicals were presented at the Luna Stage Company in West Orange during the summer months, which was their off-season. Additionally, Pleasant Valley Productions provided free concerts at the West Orange Public Library and provided the entertainment lineup for the West Orange Street Fair, thank you, Megan, and for the Downtown West Orange Alliance. Following the sale of Pleasantdale Presbyterian Church, PVP went on a search for a performance and rehearsal venue in West Orange. Our home had become a Chase Bank, and while I'm sure that they are supporters of the arts, we didn't think that they would be willing to let us sing in their bank lobby. So the search continued. We found ourselves in Caldwell and then in Montclair, never giving up the goal to be back in West Orange. Having spent the last 9 years or so networking with the community and gaining exposure as a reputable theater company, the goal to be back in West Orange became a reality when we heard of the potential to become the program managers of OSPAC. We held several meetings with our team to discuss the challenges and the benefits, and we determined that this was definitely a great opportunity for Pleasant Valley Productions and the township as well. With our years of experience producing and directing theater and programs, we are committed to bringing back summer musical theater, concerts of all musical genres, special events, collaborating with the West Orange Rec Department to continue family movie night, and give opportunity to our newly formed West Orange Community Band, and with the Downtown West Orange Alliance to bring the community together for events like West Orange Idol, which taps into young talent. On a regular basis, we plan to poll the community to review their wish lists for OSPAC programming. We have heard a lot of people would like Jazz Fest back, and we plan to work very hard to bring Jazz Fest back. The team members with me tonight are members of our executive board. I'd love to introduce them, but I won't take up your time. But members of our executive board, volunteer members of our board of trustees, technical, educational, and artistic staff. We are clear that the township provides no funding for us to produce these programs at OSPAC. The first thing we plan to do following this agreement is to put a serious fundraising campaign in place. The costs to produce performing arts programs like Broadway-style musicals and concerts far exceed any income that could even come from ticket sales. Therefore, the need to raise funding for operating and production expenses is very important. We're excited to share community programming with you and grateful to the township for allowing us this opportunity. That's all.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard before I close public comment? Once, twice, no? I now close public comment, and I open responses to my colleagues. Councilman Kukovic, I'll start over this way for a change. So.
Sounds good. Thank you, Council President. If you can't hear me, please just let me know. I'm just a little hoarse this evening. I apologize. Ms. Reichert, I've been asking about where the budget is, and at the council meeting 3 weeks ago, if I recall correctly, Mr. Gross, the Chief Financial Officer, said that there are a few things that they were still looking to put in place, and we might have something the following week. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I'm just as interested as you are in what the timeline is for our budget. We're coming up on passing 1/3 of the calendar year, and it's getting a bit concerning to me too that we are spending this money without a budget, without a final budget in place. So hopefully the administration will be able to give us some specifics on that. Ms. Bennett, thanks very much for coming to the council. You've used some strong words today, this evening. You talked about mismanagement at OSPAC, about embezzlement of money, about profit by a private company that was supposed to be managing the property. You say that you have some documentation or evidence in your possession. Please send it along to the council. It's council@westorange.org. I'm sure I and my colleagues would very much like to see that. And I'd also like to hear about what actually happened in the apparent mix-up between providing you the current contract that was approved by the council majority in 2013 as opposed to the 2012 contract. So that would be something to know. You had mentioned that the 2013 contract gave the township a 10% share of the profits. If you've done a lot of research, you know that that was one of my concerns, that the entity that we allowed to license the facility did not have a requirement to return any money for their share of what I consider to be one of the most valuable township assets that we have. But that 10% profit was after a net profit of $150,000 in a year, which certainly did not, is certainly just out of the question of happening, and is one of the many reasons I voted against that 2013 contract. But anything that you can come up with that documents inappropriate behavior under the previous facility manager, I'd very much like to know, because the situation here tonight is that regardless of how great a potential vendor, Pleasant Valley Productions, could be for this, I think, given what we know that's gone on, that we need to dig very deeply into exactly what did and did not work and make sure that the new license agreement does its best to reduce the chances of that happening again. So with 4 council people, correct me if I'm wrong, we can, 2 of us can vote down this, the ordinance on first reading, and we can go back and sharpen our pencils, and the administration can work with the council to first find out what happened under the existing licensing agreement, and then make sure we modify it so that inappropriate behavior does not happen again, and perhaps we can get a share of the revenues that the facility produces from our township valuable asset. Ms. Pinnell, right on. I'm there with you. I hope everybody joins us. Ms. Williams, thanks very much for speaking. Mr. Puglisi, you and I have talked about ways we can address some of the traffic concerns at the zoo area, at the complex, the county complex. One of the ideas I had, and I think you're going to at least throw it out to the folks at the county, is to actually place a couple of video cameras in appropriate places in the area, so that when somebody's looking to drive through there and needs to get there in a hurry, they can just go to their phones and, while the car isn't moving, and check to see whether the traffic fits with what they need to do. So I'm honestly looking forward to that. Ms. Brill, thanks very much for your comments as well. And Ms. DiLorenzo, thanks very much for coming tonight, and you had an excellent script. Thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman McCartney.
Thank you. Ms. Reichert, thank you for your comments. The priority for, you mentioned the police contract, that is a priority, it is urgent, and that we will work out with the administration. I felt, though, that having the opportunity to acquire 130 acres, we would not miss that opportunity to do it. So I see them as 2 separate issues. The contract will get settled, and I wholeheartedly supported the acquisition of 130 acres for the Rock Spring Country Club. Michaela Bennett, your comments also, I think for all the reasons that you stated about the contract being expired, the mismanagement, embezzlement, are all the more reasons why I want to move forward with someone that has been in the business for as long as I can remember, Theater Under the Stars, and before that. So I know the professionalism of the organization. I agree with my colleague that they can investigate, but I believe that it's time to move on and put it in hands that, trusted hands of someone that is professional that can move on. For all the reasons that you stated, all the more reasons to move on and not to table this. Tammy, I'm not sure if you were here when we were introduced to the new coordinator, the senior coordinator for the town. I've shared many emails with her and phone conversations. She is very receptive to new ideas and new programs, and your line dancing program is a great idea, just one of many more to happen. So I know they're very receptive for that. Suzanne, thank you for the comments. That was one of the things in the council liaison that we did not mention the Memorial Day ceremony on May 27th at 10 o'clock right out here at Town Hall. So thank you for that. And just a thank you to Anthony and to my colleague's question about the parking deck, because that was approved by the planning board a few months ago, and so we need to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Matute-Brown.
Thank you. Ms. Reichart, thank you for your comments. I too have a concern, and the administration has heard me ask for the budget. But I have to say that it was because of what we're looking at that I still stand by my vote to purchase Rock Spring. I think it would have been negligent fiscally not to do so. It was just the right thing to do, looking at the next couple of years at our budget, understanding that there was a real possibility that even if our county executive purchased it, we were not going to see any tax generated from that, which we absolutely need. I think it's our responsibility to ensure that we find ways to generate revenue. So I do support the police contract. I am hopeful that they will settle soon. I understand that they are still in negotiations. I look forward to an update, hopefully sooner than later, as to where they are with that from the administration. But I stand by my vote to purchase that. I do think it was necessary for us to do so. It's 138 acres of open space with the potential of generating revenue. I hope that the Kemper Golf Management Company sees some successes for all of our benefits sooner than later. And I look forward to all the voices and those who have organized around this issue because it's their vested interest to make sure that their voices are also heard as part of this discussion is how we move forward. But I appreciate your concern because I share those as well. Miss Susan Fennell. Happy pre-birthday, your son. I appreciate watching, and I get a little sad too when you guys are on Facebook with his pictures. I can't imagine that distance, but you know we are still very grateful for his commitment to our service in our country. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Puglisi, for addressing those concerns and giving us an update with respect to potential relief. I know that I do ask everyone, including myself, not to be frustrated or impatient. It's a couple of days of the year that does affect us. Ms. Williams, thank you for your comments as well. Ms. Brill.
God bless.
Bless you. Thank you for always keeping us posted in your comments with respect to Camille. It was good background information to read. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. And for Ms. Bennett, I do appreciate you bringing your concerns to the council. This is clearly something that I am not familiar with since I am new to the council, but I am very concerned. And if I looked like I was not paying attention while some of my colleagues were speaking, is because I was trying to catch up on the ordinance to this particular resolution to make sure I didn't miss anything. I am concerned. I do have questions. I'm interested in understanding how to mitigate those issues, what happens during the time of an investigation if there is one, how does that affect a current agreement? Does it affect the current agreement? I do believe, and this is just from my personal knowledge with respect to OSPAC, because my friend and neighbor was part of the Arts Council and was involved in trying to organize things at OSPAC and the challenges that they face as a nonprofit organization because there is no funding. I am concerned with respect to what happened here. So I'd like to, I don't know if the mayor or Mr. Trenk wants to have a discussion about that to help us along with this particular instance. For my peace of mind in making a decision, how is it going to affect if we do vote this lease? Any investigations? Should there be any pending? Okay. Well, I'm concerned with the comments that were brought up here tonight If there is some information that you have, Ms. Bennett, you would please forward it to the council as Mr. Kukoviac requested. I'm interested in seeing what that is. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I basically, I was totally in favor and totally support and don't have any regrets voting for the Rock Spring purchase. I think it was both an economical and social and betterment for the Township of West Orange and for our residents and for the future development of the township and how it may have affected the budget presentation. I hope the administration, they work on finishing police negotiation to give a fair contract, which is applicable to them, to our town workers and our first responders. I hope we can move past that and address that and get on with the business of running the municipality. Ms. Bennett, if you do have information like my council colleagues have said, I would love to see the information. Black and white is the best thing to see, so we can read it and have the same information that you have, so we can make educated and founded decisions, and it's good to know. So we'd like to see that. So it's good. Mr. Puglisi, thank you. Thank you for all the support the county has given to me and to my pedestrian safety board, particularly with roadway, with flows and traffic patterns, particularly with the information on the new parking deck and how it will potentially, and talking to the county engineer, how it potentially will affect the traffic at the zoo. We do know there are things above and beyond everybody's wherewithal to do it based upon holidays, based upon school, school attendance, especially major events at the zoo, $1 a day, and of course, the open house on the same day as the downtown. Is it on the same day as the downtown? Yes. But thank you always for the support that the county and you and the engineer give us for pedestrian safety and advisory. Camille, thank you for your heartfelt presentation and on your goals and objectives for what you'd like to use OSPEC for, particularly for the development of our youth and their enrollment into the arts program. The work you've done, especially with the children of West Orange, is admirable, and I hope you continue to do that and offer those services to our community and the great programs. And if things work out with OSPEC, I'm sure you'll do a fantastic thing. I don't think your abilities should be mingled with whatever happened prior to the last operation of OSPEC. So basically, it's two separate people, two separate organizations, and that's the way we need to look at it. We need to start with a fresh start and move forward. We don't need to let a good, valuable asset like OSPEC, go to waste. And that's, what I'm going to say. Susan, I admire you and your family and everything you stand for, and, with veterans and what the respect they deserve and for the issues and stuff like that. And your son is an admirable role model for the students and the residents of the Township of West Orange. And I hope, he does a lot more when as he travels around the world and his work in our military. We're very proud of him. So thank you for your comments. Did I leave anybody out? Nope. Okay. Thank you.
Council President, can I just say I left someone out?
I'm sorry?
I left someone out. Can I just readdress?
Sure.
Thank you. Camille, I'm so sorry. I did not have my reading glasses on as I looked down at my notes. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for coming up and sharing what you've done. And I do, trust me, I do believe that. And Gina has worked with you before at the Arts Council, so I understand your history here with West Orange and your successes here in West Orange. I just wanted to acknowledge that. I'm so sorry I missed it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Madam Clerk? Consent agenda?
Yes. Approval of minutes of previous meeting, public meeting, and executive session of April 9th.
Consent.
Consent.
Report of township officers, none. Reading of petitions and communications and bids, none. Bills, are there any questions on the bills?
Consent.
Consent.
Resolutions, are any resolutions being pulled this evening?
Councilman Kukoviac, any resolutions being pulled? Any questions?
Thank you, Council President. The administration has pulled agenda item D,
118-19.
a resolution authorizing the retention of Higher Gruel and Associates to prepare a study to determine whether certain properties within some blocks down on Main Street qualify for designation as a condemnation area in need of redevelopment. So I was going to pull that, but don't have to. And also, Resolution 119-19 was pulled earlier in the week and was replaced by this ordinance that we've been speaking about tonight. I don't have anything to pull. I just have a couple of questions
Please continue,
at
sir.
the appropriate time. Okay, thank you. The first one is the resolution. This is Agenda Item C, Resolution 117-19, resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with Garden State Labs for laboratory services for 2017. I guess that's a typo, because I hope it's a typo, because...
The new one, the revised one has 2019.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a revised
Okay,
agenda.
great. I asked some questions. I haven't gotten the data back yet. I don't want to hold this up, but I do want to just point out to those who were able to read the response from our health director that we have employed Garden State Labs for more than 50 years without competitive bidding, and I think it might be a good time to next year to take a look at whether there are other entities in the state who could do the work here and perhaps provide a better value after 50 years.
Councilman, I would anticipate that next year we'd be looking at quotes. It is now, the cost is now brushing up against the threshold that would require us to get quotes. So that I would expect that next year.
Yes, I hope so. I think we should be doing it even if we're not required.
Case, yeah.
Even if we weren't required, I think a vendor who's been doing this for us for more than half a century probably needs to face a little bit of competition and scrutiny. Also, just wanted to reference Agenda Item I, which is Resolution 123-19. It's a resolution authorizing a professional services contract for an engineering firm to provide professional engineering services for the improvement of Dogwood Drive and Dogwood Road in accordance with the proposal. And those of you who do not drive on Dogwood Road or Dogwood Drive really can't feel what the people on Dogwood Drive and Dogwood Road are feeling right now if they're actually listening to us, because the roads are just those two roads are in terrible shape, and we're going to have a project to resurface and put in curbs and some other amenities and improvements that's going to cost, we hope, only $620,000, but that work should be starting later this year. And I just want to make sure everybody heard the good news. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McCartney.
I do not. Thank you.
Nothing. Councilwoman Matute Brown.
I just wanted to just clarify and follow up on that same resolution, 12319. I know that the municipal aid grant from 2019 is $620,000, but that's not what this project is. It is, okay. So that takes the whole aid grant, okay. I just saw I confused it for what the 28,000 was going to be for the survey. That was it. I did also have a question with respect to, I'm not pulling, I just had a question. 11519, which is, it's determining the form and other details of the note relating to the construction finance loan program. And I know that this is part of the joint meeting of Essex and Union counties and things that have to be done. This was approved before, but this is just the clarification of all of the details and the principal notes. There is something in here that indicates in section 9 that we are repealing and rescinding the prior resolution. What does that do to?
In the process of taking all the municipalities and putting them together, the attorneys for the joint meeting made some changes. And they're pretty much just verbiage changes that they saw necessary. And our council believed that based on the changes that they were making, that it required changes in our documents. This is pretty much just housekeeping.
Standard housekeeping.
It's been
Okay.
previously approved by council. If you did nothing, they would try to figure out how to maneuver through that. this, by approving this tonight, it just makes our paperwork in line with their paperwork. And
Okay, and then I also noticed that the paperwork with respect, let me put this back on so I see what I'm talking about. In section 8, where it's certain miscellaneous provisions, the paperwork that is going to be prepared and then finalized and submitted is not submitted to the township address. I just wanted to know, is this customary, common practice?
yes, for these, because this is all being administered by
The joint meeting, that's where that's going.
We don't
Okay.
even get the funds.
Okay.
So we don't award the contracts. We just basically sign off on the financing.
Okay, so it goes right to them.
Yes.
Thank you. And if this sounds a bit pedestrian to everyone, I have to ask the questions because I'm new and I don't know. Hopefully, we're all learning together, right? Okay, and then the other one was already pulled. That's it. I just had a question. If we're going to discuss the ordinance, I'll question it then. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. And you could ask me the question about the joint meeting, because that's all part
Yes,
of
I know that's-
superstorm prevention and for the, flood remediation and the waterproofing of the joint meeting. So other than that, but yeah, I have been to pull, Madam Clerk.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is implemented.
Okay. Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
Ordinances on second and final reading, 2567-19, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7 Traffic, subsection 7-7.3, temporary parking, prohibition for snow plowing and removal, subsection 7-12, parking prohibited for street cleaning and maintenance, subsection 7-14.1, night parking restricted, and subsection 7-14.7, alternate side of the street parking revised of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange. Is there a motion to introduce on second and final reading?
So moved.
Second. Is there anyone?
Wait a minute, I have to take a vote.
I'm sorry?
Councilman Krokoviac?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Councilwoman
Too
Matute Brown?
fast.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Council President Garino.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was
That's
too
okay.
fast. Is there anyone from the general public wishing to speak on ordinance 2567-19? Any questions about the ordinance? No? Seeing none, I close public comment on this ordinance and give it to my council. Anyone wishing to speak from the council on this ordinance?
No.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Is there a motion to approve 2567-19?
So moved.
Second?
Councilman Krokoviac?
Yes.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Council President Garino.
Yes.
Ordinances on first reading, 2566-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 25, Sections 3.2 and 26.13 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange, Zone Map and Conservation District. This ordinance authorizes an amendment to the township zoning map for certain properties in the Upper Millen Avenue area, changing the zone from an R2 zoning designation to an R5 zoning designation, and removing the properties from the conservation district. Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
So moved.
Second?
Just to point out to the council, before they do.
Oh, okay,
Before
I
they
got
do.
you, yeah.
We passed out a new
Amended,
ordinance
yes, I saw
tonight,
that.
which corrected some typos, nothing really
Mm-hmm.
of policy substance, just in terms of getting the definitions correct. So that, when you're introducing, that would be the version you'll be introducing tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Gross.
Just, can I clarify on that revision as well? Only because my council colleague doesn't see that it's revised. I think that also what was revised was Schedule 1, the public lands within the conservation district. There's more lots
Yes,
included in
that was the
one.
clarification,
Okay.
was getting
So
the lot designations correct.
Okay, so on the amended one, okay.
Yes, Councilman.
If I could just follow up, whenever we have changes in our proposed resolutions or ordinances, thank you, that we get a red line version. We trust you that it's insignificant, but we may have different definitions of insignificant. So I would very much like to.
We absolutely do. This came very last minute tonight, and being that you're going to be introducing it and not adopting tonight, we did not get the red line done, but we'll send that to you, submit that to you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Good,
Thank you.
good call, Councilman. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Krokoviac?
Yes.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Council President Garino.
Yes.
Ordinance 2568-19, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7 Traffic, subsection 7-20, stop intersections of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange, Oak Ridge Road, and Hazel Avenue. Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Krokoviac?
Yes.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Council President Garino.
Yes.
2569-19, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7 Traffic, subsection 7-32.2, restricted parking zones of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange, 65 Watson Avenue, 41 Ridgehurst Road, 16 Mountain Avenue, 16 Glennon Place, and 100 Swain Place. Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Krokoviac?
Yes.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Council President Garino.
Yes.
Excuse me. 2570-19, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a license agreement with Pleasant Valley Productions, Inc. for use and operation of the Oscar Schindler Performing Arts Center. This ordinance authorizes the township to enter into a license agreement with Pleasant Valley Productions, a nonprofit entity, to use and operate the Oscar Schindler Performing Arts Center pursuant to the local lands and buildings law. The term of this license is 3 years for a nominal annual fee of $1. Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Madam Clerk, I'd just like to be known that...
I need to take a vote.
Oh, sorry.
There's something where it says that if it's considered a debate, if you're giving an opinion
No,
as
it's not a
to...
debate, it's a legality that I need to ask General Counsel.
Before we vote?
Before we vote. Okay. Mr. Trank or Mr. Kaiser, I sit on the board of the Pleasant Valley Way Productions Company. It's a non-paid position. I have no effect on any decisions they make financially. So I just want to know legally what can and or can I not do.
You should recuse and not vote.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Krokoviac?
No.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Can I have clarification?
What do you mean?
With respect to, this is just the first reading.
Yes, it's just to introduce.
It's just introduction.
Correct.
You should not be taking a vote.
It's to introduce.
It was seconded by someone.
Jerry.
Yeah, excuse me. This is the council's meeting. Councilwoman has a question. It goes to council or to the town clerk. No comments from the general public.
Actually, I think I understand what she's asking. You made a second on a ordinance or to introduce it when you subsequently recused yourself. I think that's the point she's
Voting on it and
making.
introducing, are they two separate things, Mr. Kaiser, Mr. Trank?
Yeah, again, let's start again. Unless Councilwoman McCartney is going to second, then we don't have to debate.
Councilwoman McCartney gave us a first, and Councilman Garino gave us a second.
Right, so have another second. Who moved the motion?
I did.
You
I
did?
did. Mhm.
Okay, we need another second.
I'm going to second to introduce.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councilman Krokoviac?
No.
Councilwoman Matute Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any pending matters?
Matters pending. Anyone on the council for matters pending? Councilwoman Matute Brown, do you have any?
I just had a question with respect to looking at Rock Spring getting ready to start its season. I know that the residents in the area all have expressed concerns with the traffic that is anticipated, particularly with it now being a public course. Have we requested, I know we discussed it, a traffic study?
Yes.
Thank you.
Police chief was there today along with Mr. Sayers and a cast of many, many people. I know the police department is working on that actively. I know that as Mr. Fagan indicated, for the opening night, they will have special provisions made all the way from Northfield through to the club. Especially because, many people have probably never been on Rock Spring Road, so to get them a little acclimated to it and to be safe getting out of Northfield. But there are definitely longer-term aspects that the mayor has been in discussions with the police chief about. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Thank you. Are you done, Councilwoman?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I have a question concerning Rock Spring. When are we going to see fees and charges and everything else up on the township website?
I believe that we did get today is Tuesday. I thought there were some final pricing that had been circulated, so I would expect. Mr. Fagan, is it getting linked to our site?
They were discussing at the meeting today. I'm not sure.
I'll make a phone call and find out, but I believe they want to get that out to the public as soon as humanly possible. Because at the meeting today, they said tomorrow the website will be up so people can start to go online and book your tea times. So they can't do that unless the rates are up. So I believe it'll all be up tomorrow, but I'll make a call during a break.
Okay, and the last thing is to Councilwoman Matute Brown's question about with the traffic on the roadway. And I know the chief's been there and you've been there, but are there any plans for any capital improvements to that road?
Not yet. I did see they did put down and dealt with all the potholes on that whole road, which is noteworthy. So I think traffic calming issues and whatnot are being considered, but I think they want to start with maybe those flashing lights as to your speed is X. They feel those are effective. I will also note, to the credit of Public Works, they went out at the suggestion of Kemper and they've crosshatched the crosswalk on Walker, which, as you know, is the way you get to the 4th and 5th holes, so that there'll be a lot of visibility for golf carts and golfers crossing Walker. Okay. So that's all up and running already. Handicap spaces were all remarked. Mr. Tracy went out there the day before the closing and made sure that all those issues were in place.
Okay. And just one last, I'm sorry, Councilman, just one last question too. Mr. Lepore is not here tonight, but anybody have any information or can find, I've sent him emails to know when we're going to put the rest of the special flashing stop signs at school districts? I know it was a project that he was working with Mr. Mike Dememiller of the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board.
Yeah, they're on order. We'll be doing it. Installation once they receive it.
To the mic. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman McCartney? Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't go for you. Any comments, public matters? Councilwoman, you.
I just have one last question. Madam Clerk, if you would be able to provide also the prior lease agreement with OSPAC?
Sure.
I would just like to compare the one that we have before us to the one that was existing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Could send that to all of us. No, just
Councilman Kukoviac?
So I apologize in advance if I missed this, but we had quite a bit of discussion about the 2019 municipal budget and the capital budget, and I don't recall that we got any response from administration about what the holdup is and what the timeline is for presenting it, so perhaps now we could actually get that information. Did I miss that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilman, I don't think you missed anything. I think Councilwoman Matute Brown made some comments, which I'll echo. And basically, there are some major issues that we're trying to put to bed, and negotiations being one of them, and there's a couple of others. And then we just met with the mayor again on Friday, and we're going to be meeting with department heads over the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be in a position to give you a firm date as to when we can start to schedule the hearing, the budget hearings, and get a document distributed out to you. I also, just to address the issue that was raised by someone from the public, is what's the basis by which we've been spending money, and as I think council knows, but for public's edification, in the beginning of the year, we did adopt a temporary budget which covers us in the state of New Jersey for a period of time until such adoption of a budget. New Jersey is one of the few, if not the only state in the union where your budget is not adopted prior to the budget year. You cannot adopt your budget and set a tax rate until the governor and the legislature come to an agreement, which is usually midnight at 6:30, June 30th of the year. So we have to have a temporary budget process that's in place until then, or until we adopt our budget.
So you identified the contract negotiations with our township employee labor unions as one of the major issues. What are the other major issues?
There were just, it's a particularly difficult year. We're trying to wrangle every penny we can to get the budget down. So we're looking and relooking and relooking. So the big one is we want to make sure that we're reflecting the proper amount of money for salary and wages, because it is going to be a very tight budget, tight like we've not seen before. So,
do you expect to stay under the 2% cap?
I cannot give you at this point in time any indication of where that is, especially given some of the things. And again, a big one, contract negotiations is a big. So I'm not going to project at this point in time.
How about the capital budget? Is it further along than the municipal, the operating budget?
I think it is. It is not as contentious. But we really haven't been focusing on that, but we will be presenting that along with the budget or shortly thereafter.
Okay, thank you. Another follow-up, a separate, we talked a little bit about Rock Spring. You just sort of oversaw the financing to actually pay the $12.2 million. Maybe you could just talk very briefly about what the terms of the financing is, and in light of the fact that the last time I asked about it, I seem to have gotten it wrong in terms of the expected cost of funds or the interest rate. And so I wanted, if I could, just throw it to you so that you could actually make sure that you say the right things, so people know what's going on, what the interest rate is, how much the cost of funds is, and that sort of thing.
Yes, the bond sold at a very competitive, or the bond anticipation notes sold at a very competitive rate. These particular notes are not tax-exempt notes, they're taxable notes, and we sold them at a rate of 2.873, I believe, 050% over a one-year period. And the amount was the $12,050,000. And we did get a premium, which the premium goes to pay some of the expenses. So it was a very successful sale.
So I missed that these are not tax exempt, that they are taxables.
Yes. Yeah.
And so because of that, we had to sell at a slightly higher interest rate, right?
Yeah, probably half to maybe 5/8 higher.
Right. So I can't do the math in my head, but the total cost of funds is like a little under $350,000 for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
That's interest, right?
It's 300. Yeah.
Could you tell me why it would make perfect sense if we sold it as tax-exempt notes? These are not tax-exempt. Maybe you could explain why we decided to pay more.
Because our agreement with Kemper is such that we are not at risk, and that's a really good thing. So in terms of if there's a profit, we'll gain for profit, but if there's a loss, we don't have any risk of loss. And that makes their deal a commercial deal and not a municipal deal, and therefore it is not technically eligible for nonprofit status or non-taxable status.
We were not eligible to do it as a tax exempt because
it's not a choice.
Because it's commercial. We have risk, and and that's what our bond counsel advised. Also, there was an issue of the speed and time of closing, which was another aspect that would have taken another, I can't remember whether it was 2 to 4 weeks at a minimum. But the bottom line is we didn't qualify according to our bond counsel.
Oh. I'm glad I asked then.
Now, we may in the future, depending on how we ultimately end up restructuring. But at this point in time, for the next 2 years, it will not be.
So the issue is that we have no risk. We have no risk, obviously, with the operating agreement that we have with Kemper Sports, but that seems to me to be such a small part of the deal, but it still exists. Is that
It's an
the
IRS
issue?
regulation. It's how you use, you borrow money for certain purposes.
Right.
And as of right now, from an IRS perspective, it is not considered a tax exempt use.
Can you give us a ballpark of what the difference is in terms of the cost of funds to us, because we had to give...
About probably a little bit over a half a point.
Okay. So that's, what, $75,000 more?
No.
See, I can't do the numbers in my head. I'm hoping you can.
Yeah, about 60.
60. Okay, 60,000. Okay, thank you. Just also wanted to ask about, Mr. Sayers, about some of the other issues that I regularly ask about, the sort of the status of the Essex Green Executive Drive redevelopment area. There's a redevelopment plan that I think Councilwoman McCartney is going to be at the planning board in very soon.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'm right. That's very soon.
Very soon.
Also, I wanted to follow up. It's been, I think, some time. There was some time pending for the engineering review of 10 Rooney Circle, which is in the Executive Drive area that we've been talking about doing, maybe moving the library.
No, different.
The engineering.
Mr. Iovino today, he committed to me, he'd signed the report, and we wanted the library to have a look at it first. He said he would sign the report. I, of course, reiterated what you and I spoke at the last council meeting, so I'm expecting, hopefully, after tomorrow. So I will get it to you, along with, as you recall, the council also approved $8,000 for Shine Engineering to also look at some of the systems. So we'll have them all together, and again, I hope I can email them to the clerk tomorrow for dissemination to the council.
Okay, thank you. There was, what's the news on Central Avenue redevelopment? There was, go ahead.
Everything is positive. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Councilwoman McCartney joined the mayor and some of the administration along with the county exec who was there on Friday for what's called a topping off event. The building is now sealed. We know that specifically because there was a typhoon on Friday, so we were in the building. So that was the good news that it's tightened now. They're moving inside to do all the development. As you will recall, that's going to be 100 units on the Selecto Flash site, 55 of which will be affordable, 45 will be market. So what we are doing is hoping that we will get a finalized plan for the Biddleman site, 8-10 Central Avenue that the township purchased for $100,000 about 6 or 8 months ago. And we're hoping that that will be available shortly, and then that obviously will come before the council and it'll then go to the planning board. It'll obviously be a plan consistent with the redevelopment area on Central Avenue. So we're hoping to have that within the next, I hope, 30 to 45 days. There's still environmental work that's being done. It has to be done with regard to both, well, definitely with regard to the Biddleman site.
Okay. Can I get your commitment to send that to the council as soon as it arrives in your inbox?
Mr. Albert provides it and says it's ready for release. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you. Is there anything new on the library redevelopment area?
In that, it's now at the point where it's at the planning board. I don't know. I'd have to defer to the council liaison. I believe Higher Gruel is working on that plan that will go down to the planning board.
It's not on the agenda, but it's not on the agenda yet. But
because we obviously, those things have to come
go together
quickly. I know the mayor has asked the planning board that they consider scheduling special meetings so they can move those processes forward.
I have that in my notes for tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I should come tomorrow night then, if I can.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Just so
That's
you know, preliminarily, what Mr. Albert has indicated, his proposal for 8-10 will be 94 additional units. So keep in mind, we have 118 on Harvard Press, we'll have 100 on, I'll call it Selective Flash, but it's called Valley Residential, as you know, and hopefully 94 units there. And of course, part of that, especially if Biddleman is integrated, will be an integrated parking lot, so that parking will be available for the public and for things like Luna Stage and some of the other projects.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Trank. Thank you. That being the end of our agenda, we do have an
I just had a follow-up.
Go ahead.
John, if you can, Mr. Gross, just to follow up, can you just explain the restructuring for that finance for Rock Spring? What's the time frame you're looking at that we may qualify for a tax exempt status?
You would only qualify if you go at risk.
But he mentioned restructuring, so I just wanted to follow.
It's 1 year, right? They're 1 year.
The 1 year we will be renewing for the next year thereafter, and then once by that time we'll know what the plan is for the site, and depending on what our actual uses are on the site, that may impact that decision.
Okay.
Because that'll come together with hopefully some green acres, hopefully some other, like you talked about earlier, some potential.
Okay. I just wanted to understand. Thank you.
Thank you to my colleagues. Yes, Councilor.
Could I just ask another follow, just since we got everybody here? I asked in a late email for a great deal of information, a great deal of documentation on OSPAC and NJAI, and I didn't get any of it.
It's subject to a pending investigation. So again, other than discussing it in executive session, if the council determines to go in executive session, that is subject of a pending investigation. It's not being handled by the township attorney or the law department.
Okay, so there is a pending investigation. There's an investigation of the allegations.
I don't know any more than what I just told you.
Okay, so who is conducting this investigation?
Again, it's
For executive session.
If you want to go in executive session, then we'll talk about executive session. We're not going to discuss it in public.
Okay. Now, when you say that, does that also involve the Oprah requests that Ms. Susan Anderson filed recently?
Again, it implicates everything with regard to anything, but it has nothing to do with the new operator that was approved for first reading. Zero to do with it. So it has nothing to do with Pleasant Valley Productions or whatnot. Anything other with the past, if you want to go into executive session, you'll have to pass a detailed resolution, as you know, Councilman, and we'll give you the benefit of what limited information we have in executive session.
Okay, that would be excellent, because I know you and I sometimes agree, we frequently disagree. I disagree with you that it has nothing to do with the new vendor, because it's being presented on basically the same licensing agreement that I had concerns about 5 or 6 years ago, and it certainly sounds like some of those issues have come back to haunt us.
So
but I don't know.
Clear,
that's why I was asking for the information.
In any way, shape, or form that Ms. Lorenzo or anyone connected with Pleasant Valley Productions even existed with regard to OSPAC prior to the last 30 days would be a misstatement that I'm sure you're not intending to make.
I didn't make it.
Okay, I'm sorry?
I did not make it.
Okay, good. I just want to clarify, because I'm sure you didn't mean to make that, so, good.
Okay. Thank you, my colleagues. Madam Clerk, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting, and then we'll go into executive session.
Okay. Well, we're only going to executive session on one item, and that is the request that was given to Madam Clerk, which deals with the revow.
Duly noted. Thank you. On revow. We are going to executive session on revow. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Just before we do that, excuse me, if I can, could I ask that we have a executive session at the next council meeting to hear what we can hear about this pending investigation of...
You and your colleagues.
Right. I'd like it to be drafted and presented on the agenda for the next council meeting. Okay.
As long as everybody
Great.
approves it.
Great, that's thank
Is
you.
everyone approving
Yes.
it?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The
Good
meeting
night,
is
West
adjourned.
Orange. Our next council meeting will be May 14th. We hope to see you here. Have a great evening, and thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us this evening.